What's up, guys? We are Past the Pop Culture. My name is Ricky with my co-host here, Mrphen.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about that D&D movie that just came out, Steam Deck and some competitions. And then we're going to talk about a couple trailers, Blue Beetle, and then Secret Invasion dropped not too long ago. And then we're going to talk about a little bit of COD, right, at the end, right? So the intervention's coming back. So we got some thoughts and feelings about everything that's going on in COD because we've been playing it a bit more. So yeah, we're just going to have a little discussion on it. So I think the first thing we'll talk about, just get it right out of the way, right? We're going to talk about the D&D movie. Spoilers ahead. I do want to let everyone know, spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen it, we're just going to give our quick little review on it. I give it like a good 7 out of 10. I think like it was good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't bad. Definitely would be a lot higher. I'm not like a D&D enthusiast. That's more my brother, but I understand some of the stuff that's going on. But my brother enjoyed it a lot. Him and his friends really were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool!" Like, and he's saying it's pretty fairly accurate to a lot of the stuff, a lot of the mechanics from the game were in the movie, of course. And so there was a few things that were just kind of weird, and we'll talk about that. So yeah, overall, pretty solid movie. I would say go watch it. Even if you're not a D&D fan, it's just a fun little adventure. That's what it is. It's fun. It's cheesy. Yes, it kind of has like kind of stupid witty humor here and there, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I think it's fairly serviceable for the material, and I think like if you're gonna watch it just to watch it, yeah, you're gonna enjoy it. So that's my rating on it. I don't know what you give it.
I 100% agree. 7 out of 10.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was fun. Don't watch it because it's like a Dungeons and Dragon movie. Just watch it because it's
Mhm.
a basic movie. It has your adventure. It has your jokes. It has
Mhm.
your action. It has,
It has heart,
it
and
has
stuff
heart.
like that. Yeah.
Point A to point B. It was well done. I'd see it again. So it beat John Wick. So if that means anything to you,
Yeah, I didn't know that.
yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So with with the D&D movie, okay, now this is gonna go into a little bit more spoiler territory. So go back, watch it, and then come back here, and then we can you can join the discussion. But yes, this is now spoilers territory. So uh, from what I understand, this was kind of like an adaptation of some of the lore and the stories that they have already. Like they have different books and stuff like that, right? And I'm pretty sure anybody who plays D&D can correct me, or maybe I have to like reference my brother again because I'm only lightly acquainted with everything, so I'm not going to claim to be like this big like D&D enthusiast when I'm not. So but going in, right, like I was like, okay, I almost didn't see it, but I was like, oh, there's an extra ticket, so I was like, okay, I'll take it. Someone couldn't go, so I went instead.
Interesting.
And I was like, oh, actually, this was pretty enjoyable. I was expecting it to be like okay, like I thought I was gonna be like, well,
I thought it was gonna be
kind of
more
a waste
cringy.
of time. Like yeah, like I thought going in it was gonna be a little more of a waste of time than what it actually ended up being, and it was actually really good. Like I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. I was like, you know what? It had family, it had heart, it had a lot of stuff that was in there that was like, it was cool action. I was actually surprised the action. Of course, right? CGI, right? Some people are not going to like it, I think, for the CGI. I think it was perfectly good, perfectly serviceable.
Yeah.
Things were realistic enough for me, right? Like, but yeah, like there was some kind of like awkward looking stuff here and there, but like I don't know, like just
Really?
like because I went with the group too, so like some people were saying like, oh well, like in terms of accuracy, there was not like a like uh and like things were just not 100%. I don't know. I don't know if I misunderstood it, but I guess there was like some funky stuff here and there that it was like, oh, but I think that just kind of comes down to everyone's interpretations and depictions, right? Like so.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I think the CGI itself, though, when it was done, I think it was good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like what's her name, She-Hulk, level of CGI, So it's like it was perfectly good. I don't really have complaints in the CGI
Yep.
or special effects department. All the spells look fairly cool, and stuff like that. But I also like I was more willing to like, oh, this is a fantasy tabletop movie, right? Like I'm not I'm not
It's not
expecting the
Marvel.
world here. Yeah, like this is not going to be Oppenheimer where he did a realistic
Yeah.
nuke to take a pic, like to take a
Yeah.
photo and like do all this like to film and stuff. So like I'm not expecting like super crazy things.
Mm.
But I mean it was pretty good. I think from what I heard, kind of people were like the beginning was just a little too long in terms of like getting to the main bread and butter of the movie,
Oh,
which
okay.
I think to me I honestly thought it was fine. The movie wasn't terribly long. I want to say it was sub 2 hours, but
It was 2 hours, I think.
yeah. Oh, was it 2 hours?
I
Okay,
think
because
so.
it felt fairly quick. It felt like to me, I felt like it was just like boom, 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 one thing to the other, and it
Hmm.
was just kind of hard because it was just like you had to bring in all these people, and like it was really, really, really quick.
Yeah.
Especially the beginning where they're like, oh, backstory, and then like they had all that stuff. Like it did feel like they kind of had to like be pretty speedy on some of the stuff, but I think in terms of pacing, it was pretty good. I didn't start getting bored or anything like that.
True. True.
But yeah, so I of course I can't really attest to all the inaccuracies of the lore or the inaccuracies
Okay.
of stuff like that. But the one I heard like from my brother was like you had the girl who can change into
The red
different
guard or the
animals.
red mage, whatever. Oh, okay.
So I guess you can only do it like twice in a day. If you're like really powerful, you can do it a little bit
Okay,
more
like
here and
come
there.
on now.
So I was like, so
Relax.
technically, so yeah, so my brother was like, technically, yeah, like she was
Oh.
pretty overpowered, and then you had
I'm
the
already
guy who
triggered.
plays the lute, right? And it's
Yeah,
like,
the
I
thief.
guess I guess he's supposed to technically be able to do some magic, but he didn't do any magic, so he's pretty just low level, I guess.
Oh my.
So I was like that was like just kind of like the different like things that like they were talking about in the group. They're like, yeah, like why didn't he cast any spells? Like he's supposed to know some sort of magic. So it's just stuff like that. Like for me, like
Nerds.
I'm like, oh okay, like but yeah, like so I will acknowledge like okay, there my viewing of it's a little bit different, right? So I was like, oh okay. I mean, I wouldn't have known like if they didn't say anything, I wouldn't have known stuff like that,
Yeah,
right?
but like that's the thing with Dungeons and Dragons. It's your own interpretation of whatever. So it's like it doesn't always have to be quote unquote by the book.
Yeah,
So
like
it's
you can
like
just always say like, oh, it's technically like homebrewed or something. I don't know. Like, but overall, I mean, like to me, not a big deal, right? To other
yeah.
people, it may be. So, I'd be interested
Oh.
though if you are a D&D player, like, what is your opinions on it? Did you like how accurate or inaccurate it was? Depending on like what we're talking about. But,
True.
hopefully I'm not mischaracterizing anything. But yeah, so it was pretty enjoyable though overall. Everyone liked the fat dragon, right?
That thing was pretty darn cute.
That thing was chonky though. I
It
think it was scary, dude. Like,
was scary. I wasn't expecting it to be chunky,
yeah,
but
like it was just pretty funny. Like, especially like uh, at the beginning when they were doing that thing where like the dragon was kind of coming through the paper. I'm not sure if you saw that part where it's like they're just like, "Hey, thank you for watching the movie" or something like that, right? Like,
oh
like
yeah,
it
that was
wasn't even
weird.
watching the movie for itself, but like the thank you part for like watching it.
Yeah, in the very
Like, I was like,
beginning.
man, like maybe the dragon looks spooky. Like when he's like going through the paper and you can kind of see him and he's trying to
Yeah,
break through.
that
And
was
it was like,
weird.
oh, okay. And so I was like, oh, okay, and then lived up. There's like plenty. There's a few dragons. Like to me, there's plenty of dragons, right? And there was dungeons, so
There was
you know, 10
and
out
there
of
were
10, right?
ants.
Yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
no, but in all seriousness, no, it was interesting though that the take that I was kind of like, I mean, it's not a master level of fantasy. We're not talking about Lord of the Rings here or anything.
Yeah.
But it definitely was a good like I would go watch a second one. If they made a second one, I would see
Hmm.
it. Like I think that's to me that was like
Same
how
cast or like completely different?
I like the cast. I actually thought I was gonna get kind of annoyed uh with some of the cast, but how do I word it? They didn't stick to their shtick too much. Where like that was their
Yeah.
only character,
Yeah.
like trait. So, because you kind of had the dude where he was a little inconfident about himself, unconfident, and then being like, "Oh, I don't think I can do it." Like he wasn't too annoying, but he was kind of like
It kind
there
of made
to it.
sense.
Yeah, like it was there, but he was kind of there, and he's like, "Oh, he improved though."
Hmm.
Right, like he changed though, and so now he's more confident, a little bit better, right?
Hmm.
And then so they were all not like I wouldn't say any of the characters are super annoying, right? So it's like you had definitely I think the cast was fairly well rounded. Like
Yeah.
no one was particularly annoying or particularly overshadowed another one.
Hmm.
I think it was all like it felt like a group. It was fun, right? Like you felt like you're kind of like there to witness all these things happening. Um, of course, the main outside of the main villain, right? Like the main villain was pretty like I'm like, okay, just get him, please. This is annoying. Like it's like he did a really good job at like playing this like I don't want to say stereotypical because that's gonna sound negative, but it's just like oh he just knows how to play a jerk. You know what I mean? And it's just like
Oh,
you want to smack
I thought you
him.
meant the red mage or whatever, but you
No,
meant
no, no. The red
Lord
mage,
Neverwinter.
she was spooky too, like that red mage, and then she's just
Yeah.
like, but the main bad guy though, I'm
Yep.
sorry, yes, he's not the main bad guy, but he was like I think the
Lord
Lord of
Neverwinter.
yeah, Lord Neverwinter, yeah. So he was pretty cool, and because like oh man, you did want to punch him in the face, and it was like
Yeah,
because he was so
he was a
greedy.
d-bag.
Yeah, and so it was like, but like it was good where it wasn't too overplayed, but
Hmm.
he was kind of like this like supposedly like sophisticated guy, right? But he's
Hmm.
a thief at heart, and so it was really good, right? Like I mean, sure, you can call out a lot of the certain story beats, but I don't take it too like seriously, like oh okay, yeah, there's this plot twist, like you're gonna be taken, and like
Hmm.
this is what we wanted, and like so it was pretty good. I think overall I don't have any like major complaints on my part. I give it a 7 out of 10 because it's like it's not the greatest story ever told, but it's not bad. When I
Yep.
give a 7 out of 10, some people think that's low. I would say that's fairly average because like I say I don't give 10 out of 10s. Very rarely will I ever think something's perfect. To me, 5 is okay. So like a 5 out of 10 means it was an okay movie. I probably wouldn't really go watch it. Being a 7 out of 10 is like it's watchable. It's worth going to the movies. When you start hitting like a 7 and above, I would say like yes, it's definitely better to just go watch it in the theaters now than
Hmm.
to just like wait for it to come on DVD or like oh DVD man what that shows my age to wait for it to come to like streaming service right. I'm so used to things going to DVD when I was a kid, so I was like all right,
Boomer.
I'm not even that old.
Jeez.
And the worst part is I didn't say Blu-ray. I said
You said
DVD. That was
DVD.
the
I
worst.
know.
That was the worst part. Surprised you didn't call me directly right out on that one.
I didn't want to.
Because you would have to acknowledge too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm
so
cool.
like, yeah, there's there's definitely like a lot of heart to the movie though, and that's what I really enjoyed is that like the interactions with the cast, right? Like it was a
Yeah.
good story, a good theme, right? Of just like a family overcoming your fears, failing and failing and failing until you eventually succeed,
Hmm.
right? Facing evil because it's the right thing to do, stuff like that. Like overall good themes, like family friendly. I would say, they had good action, right? Like
Hmm.
of course they would kind of like pan away, so like you didn't see like them slicing their throat or something, but they did still make it look kind of flashy and cool, right? So it's like, all right, you know, if you have kids or stuff, I would think it's like appropriate for them to go and see it and stuff like that. So I think they definitely strike a good balance where it was like it was actiony enough, there was cool adventure going on, and there's because now that I think about it, there wasn't a lot of like um not that there wasn't a lot of fight scenes, but like it was more like they used the fight scenes to kind of like as they were going along, right? So
Oh
like they
yeah,
were
yeah.
they were fighting, but they were
Like
like
part of the
running away from the
story.
dragon, like
Yeah.
so it didn't feel like they were just having the fight scenes to have the fight scenes,
Oh,
right? Like
okay.
like it felt like
Hmm.
okay, yeah, like they're doing things and moving forward because sometimes it's like they just start having fight scenes and like why is everyone fighting? And so, but it was pretty good. I think it was fairly funny too. Like like when they jumped out of the building and they're like, wait, but we approved your
Oh,
release, and then it
yeah.
was like, oh,
That's why it's like okay, I'm gonna like this movie. They're
yeah,
stupid, so.
so it's like yeah, it's a stupid level of comedy. Sometimes they went over on it, right? And it was a little too like okay, calm down.
Yep.
And it was like, but for the most part, it was pretty funny, right?
Hmm.
Like because he had like Helga, and he's like he went to go see the ex
Oh my
husband, and then
gosh,
I was
Bradley
dying.
Cooper!
That was Bradley Cooper.
That was
Okay, I
Bradley
was like,
Cooper. I
okay, I was
freaking
like,
love that whole scene.
that guy looks like Bradley Cooper, but just because it's a mini version of him, so
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, is that him? And then I remember asking, and they're like, oh, I don't know, but I guess it was. And they're like, yeah,
that
so
was my
that
favorite
that was a
scene.
good scene. She's like, does she make you happy? He's like sitting there, and he's like, all right, we're gonna take down the kingdom. Like it's stupid, cheesy stuff like that. I'm willing to be more lenient on stuff like that, of course. So
Yeah.
it's like it was pretty funny, right? Like no one was expecting that.
Oh man, that was
But
so
yeah,
gross.
like it was a good little subversive thing. So it's like there was plenty of good jokes that landed. Yeah, the ones that didn't land, they were quickly kind of swept under the rug, and you just moved on. So
Yeah.
most of the jokes were fairly like fast hitting. They would be kind of like funny scenarios, and those ones stuck pretty well usually. So it's like you weren't kind of because like sometimes unfortunately like with Marvel and a lot of other just like general movies, they kind of like to sit in the joke for too
Yeah, they
long,
keep doing
and
it.
then
Yeah.
like it's like okay like yeah, like it was more like a one and done kind of thing, and they kind of like bring it up later in the movie, right? Where like she gets the award and stuff,
Hmm.
and then he's there to give the award, but it's not like they didn't carry the gag too long. They didn't
Hmm.
overdo anything, so that was just kind of nice. So it's like if something kind of fell flat, it's like all right, you know what, we can move on fairly quick, and that's what I enjoyed. But yeah, overall, just a very enjoyable movie. I don't
Yeah.
know. So I don't know. Maybe it just caught me in a good enough mood. Maybe because the ticket was free, but I enjoyed it. So, yeah. So
No, it was a
that's
seven
really
out of
gotta
10.
say. No, but it was a good movie though. I would recommend, of course, anybody to go watch it. But
Why
this
do
is
you
the
think it
spoiler
did?
talk.
Why do
So
you think it did more than John Wick
in terms of like,
in terms of money?
I think it's just I want to say it's a bigger property with an even more loyal fan base, right? Because like
Mm,
anybody and everybody who's in the D&D is gonna go watch it.
okay.
I think that's kind of just why it did better. Um, while John Wick is very popular, I don't want to say it's niche because D&D is also niche, but it's like I think like John Wick, it's like because
It.
it's an action movie,
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say
And
yeah.
so it's like and there's nothing wrong with like being an action movie, and I wouldn't call it generic in any way, but I think like a lot of people like um because John Wick is on the more violent side, you can't really get the money from families going there with their kids. D&D
Um.
is able to be family friendly enough where like people bring their kids. So I think that's really just what it is. It's like how like people say it's really difficult to make a rated R superhero movie because families can't bring their kids, and that's where the real money is.
Yeah.
So I think it's maybe just something like that. Because John Wick, I don't check anymore, right? If a movie's rated R, I haven't done that in years, right? Like,
I don't even
so
think it matters
I don't know.
anymore.
Is
So
John Wick rated R?
I
I
think
think
so.
I'd imagine it is, and usually that's probably why, right? Or John Wick is at least on the more violent side of PG-13 movies. If it is a PG-13 movie, I'm pretty sure it's
Hmm.
rated R. I'd be very surprised.
Actually, I think it's PG-13 because they only said one F word, right?
Oh yeah, so it probably is then, but still that's fairly violent, right? So it's like it's like I mean comparing the violence in
Well,
John Wick versus D&D, right? Like those are two completely like like
yeah.
they're different ballparks, and I think maybe it just won out because it's people who it's fantasy, right? It's light fantasy, and like it's not like this crazy dark, everyone's dying everywhere, right?
Hmm.
There wasn't like excessive amount of blood or anything, so I think it made it safe enough for a lot of parents to bring their kids, and I think that's just really at the end of the day why it wins
Dang
out
kids.
is because the like the people, the general audience can go see it, but the families can go and see it. It's not crazy or anything. And then two, D&D has a very loyal fan base. I know they've been having problems like because what is it called, Wizards of the Coast, right? Like they've been kind of on some weird stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I think everyone just wanted to support and go and see the movie because it's something they want to see more of, and so that's what it kind of seemed like. Everyone that I know who plays D&D is like, oh, I want to go see it. Like everyone I know
Mm.
that is into it, they were like, no, I'm gonna go see it. So I think maybe that's just why it went out at the end of the day. It's just like some sort of like combination of those. But that's my own theory. I'm probably wrong.
No, I think
It's
you're
just
right.
so it could
Like
just be like
how was your crowd? Like what was the audience like?
I would say it was fairly young. Like that's why I say
Okay.
like the family aspect,
Yeah.
because like there was kids in there. Like versus like when I went to go see John Wick, it was a lot of like
Adults.
yeah, like it was like oh okay, like
Yeah.
I was probably one of the younger people in the crowd there, and then maybe a few teenagers or something, and then but you had a lot of like adult men and stuff like that, like watching it. Like that's kind of like the niche you're getting into. It's just
Mm.
like the dads and
Testosterone.
stuff, they just go out with the boys or something,
Mm.
and they go watch the movie. So like that's kind of like the crowd more for John
Okay,
Wick.
okay.
It's like so I feel like, but yeah, like because it was a younger audience from what I was seeing, but like I seemed to enjoy it. Like everyone liked the movie
Mm-hmm.
in the crowd. But yeah,
That was a bunch of
um,
nerds.
yeah, it's nerds and young kids and stuff like that. So, But yeah, again, good movie overall. So
Yep.
I don't have like really a lot of negative things to say about it. But yeah, anyways, to move on to the other stuff really quickly though, do you want to talk about the trailer or the Steam Deck competitor now?
Probably the
So,
trailers.
all right, so we'll go on to the trailers then. So Blue Beetle, right, dropped fairly positive reception. I've seen
Yep.
like, I mean, no one, I haven't, fairly positive is a disservice. Everyone seems to really like enjoy it, right? So I haven't really seen anybody hate on it. No
I
one's
haven't.
going like, I mean, I can probably scroll through the comment sections even, and it's like,
I
they're saying it looks cool. Like people are like liking the vibes.
George
But
Lopez looks weird. That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah,
I
but yeah,
sorry.
people are pretty like confident in the movie also as well, which is kind of interesting. And like everyone's saying they're excited, they want to see this. Now, of course, is that bots? I don't know, right?
I don't think it.
But it
Maybe
seems
it
to
could
be
be.
fairly like legitimate though, like because people are actually giving like thoughtful like answers, right? Like some people are just saying, "Oh, I'm so excited," which of course, it's kind of hard to tell if that's a bot or not, right? Like I feel like
True.
anytime I know go to a trailer, it's like hard to tell, like you
Can't
know,
wait! Exclamation point.
yeah, and it's like, well,
Okay,
and it's like
thanks.
not that there's any wrong with those comments. It's just unfortunately YouTube lately has just been flooded with bots. So it's just like it's really hard to like look through a comment section now without there being some sort of like, oh, like who's I watching? Like Moist Critical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like and it's like, oh, my farts are better than Moist Critical's. Like watch my videos. I'm like, what? And it's just like
What?
there's all these bots in the comments, and people are like fighting them and like
Sure.
hate them so much.
Okay.
And it's just like, wow, this is like cool, man. And then it's
Whatever
like,
you mean.
yeah, and then yeah, like I honestly hate the bot problem on YouTube. It's just getting absolutely ridiculous. Um, that's a whole separate rant. Blue Beetle, I think I mean, I think it's gonna be pretty good just from what they've shown off in the trailer. You got George Lopez in it, so it's definitely, that those parts are gonna be funny. At least I'd be very
Yep.
surprised if he falls flat in this movie.
Is this part of James Gunn's universe?
So that I don't really know if they're just like getting this out here and it's just gonna be part of like, I don't want to say Snyderverse because they never really did it, but kind of like the mainline DC universe stuff that's
Mm-hmm.
that's potentially gonna get rebooted or like swept under the rug. I don't know because it's just like I understand James Gunn like said like, oh yeah, we're doing this and that. I just wish he kind of came out and was like, this is canon, this isn't canon. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, we're just gonna have to wait till the movies drop.
In August.
Yeah, and so we're gonna have to wait for them to drop to kind of be able to tell like, okay, what the heck's going on here, what's being canon, what's not. So
I'm just
I
glad they're
think,
marketing it a
yeah,
lot
I'm
more.
glad they're marketing it. I'm glad they're like, this movie exists, please go watch it, right? Because
Like
like
Shazam.
yeah, like I kind of forgot that Shazam was like coming out, but I mean it looks pretty good. I like the suit.
It looks really good.
I remember seeing something that like a lot of the suit is actually practical. Like they had
Yeah.
some on-set pictures very early
Yeah.
on. Yeah, like it doesn't look like a CGI mess. Um, I like it because like the early Iron Man suit, it kind of reminds me of that where like things were a little bit more practical on the suit.
Oh.
So that I always kind of enjoy when things are a little bit more practical versus just like straight up CGI,
Well, it's more
right?
like Deadpool's because Deadpool is like literally just a suit.
Yeah,
Because like
yeah. I think
when
Deadpool's
he's in
a
space,
good
remember
a good
his
reference.
his helmet was moving like when he was talking. I don't know if you caught
Hmm.
that. So I was like, that's pretty much Deadpool. I mean, of course, you can't have like the tentacles. I mean, maybe you can have the tentacles as practical, right?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a little bit difficult, but yeah, like definitely part for reference or something. They can kind of have them on there,
Yep.
but I don't know. I think overall it does look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like okay, it's gonna be kind of like your classic superhero origin story, right?
I get it.
So we'll
You know
see.
who that is, right?
He's from Cobra
Cobra
Kai,
Kai.
right?
Yeah, man, that
Yeah, I
kid.
didn't. He looks a lot older.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
said.
so
My mom's
I
like,
know.
"Oh yeah, that's a kid from Cobra Kai." I was like, "Yeah, kid." I'm like, what
I
the heck happened?
I haven't seen the full. I've seen like episodes here and there,
Yeah,
but I've been meaning to watch the whole Cobra Kai thing. But yeah, apparently like he's really good in it, and people are super excited that he's in
he
this
grew
movie.
up. He
So
grew up, man.
yeah, um, I'm gonna go see it, and then we'll definitely drop a review on Blue
True,
Beetle. I don't see why I wouldn't go watch it. So,
true.
uh, Secret Invasion though. Um, I don't know. I don't really have much to say on it. It's
I have
just
no idea what's
another.
happening.
Yeah, I'm not too well. Like, I don't. I always get like. The thing is, like, things always kind of blur for me, like that happen in Marvel, right? So it's like I always forget the individual
Exactly.
stories sometimes because there's just
Exactly.
so many. So I'm just like, but the thing is, I guess that I do the same thing for DC, like Flashpoint, and then I'm like, Flashpoint, right? It's like
Yes.
yeah, because there's like Brightest Day, Darkest Night. They have like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They have like oh, they're kind of newer one that they did.
Rebirth.
Oh wait, I want to say, well no, it's not newer. It was like long time ago when I read like all these like stories. So I don't want to say newer, right? Because it's they're kind of
Probably 5 years
old,
ago.
I guess. Yeah, like 5+ years ago. So I don't want to say that. But anyways, I don't really have much to say on it. I'm waiting to see it. I'm glad we're getting Nick Fury again. I feel like he's just been missing for so long.
He's
I,
back.
it's just I don't know why necessarily they just didn't have him show up in any of the movies like recently. I don't know the behind the scenes reason why they if that was like Kevin Feige's choice, if it was just too expensive, like I don't really know. But they're giving him the series and they're bringing him back. I felt like because they took him off world and like we're like this was like before Infinity War,
Was
right?
that? I was gonna ask you that. Where was he? Captain Marvel, right?
He
When he
Yeah,
left.
the last time he was he was just in Captain Marvel, and then he just skedaddled. And I felt like we were supposed to get that stuff a lot sooner because he's just been gone, like gone. And I'm just sitting here like, when are we getting him back? And there was really no answers on that for the longest
Oh man, I
time
don't remember.
until now. So it's like, yeah, it's been like years, and so I'm not sure if they did that on purpose. But I really miss Nick Fury in the movies, and it just you can't. It's hard because it's like it's hard to have an Avengers movie without Nick Fury, and I always felt like he was kind of missing.
Well, yeah, because even in this, he's wanted. So I don't
Yeah,
remember why.
yeah, it's been so long where it's like I have to like
We're
I
gonna
have to
need a
rewatch
recap
it.
on
Yeah,
this TV show, please.
yeah,
It looks interesting. It looks dark.
because
That's what I
yeah,
like.
and like it is definitely kind of like more espionage, right? Kind of
Yeah.
story. So which is cool. I'll enjoy that. I'm hoping that it's a little bit more of a tonal difference, right, than what we've been getting, and I hope it's good. I just really do. I just want it to be good. Um,
It better be better than She-Hulk. Is all I'm
yeah,
gonna say.
I hope they actually, because it's like you're gonna have the scrolls and everything, and then I just don't
Well,
want it to
I
be
don't
like
know.
super cheesy, like CGI when they're doing their attacks. Like
Pew pew.
yeah, they're just like and I just don't want them to be that
Generic
like
alien noises.
yeah. Like I want them to hopefully like look decent and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But um time will tell, right? I am looking forward to it. I'm always of course kind of hesitant when it comes to Marvel lately. So I can't really put like my seal of approval on it, but hopefully I just want Nick Fury to come back and have it be good. So
Yep, I agree.
man, this would be definitely interesting. Definitely an interesting watch. Okay, so then I want to talk about the Steam Deck competitor.
Yep, yep.
I don't know too much about it.
Me neither.
I
It was an
started
April Fool's
watching.
joke.
Yeah, a lot of people thought it was fake because they showcased it on April Fools, which I'm not sure. I think maybe that was just like they did that so if people just like hated on it, they'd be like, "Oh no, it's a joke," right?
Pull the
Like,
plug. Pull the plug.
yeah, like we didn't just put hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions of
Whoops.
dollars to like develop this. I don't know. What are we like? Nerds? Like, come on now.
True.
But we have okay, so it's basically a Switch competitor and a Steam Deck competitor, right? It is it's more of a Steam Deck competitor than a Switch competitor because I don't think there's gonna be like first party games or anything like that. It's Asus, right? Is gonna be coming out with it. Is it Asus? Asus? I don't
I would
know.
say Asus,
Asus. Okay, so I'm sorry if like I'm
but it could
screeching
be
to anybody's
Asus.
ears. Yeah, I don't know. Asus, yeah, and then they put like not an April Fool's joke, right? Uh,
It's
I,
real.
yeah. So I watched Linus review it for a little bit. I didn't watch the full thing. I forgot what I was doing, but I just watched the very beginning of it. Something that kind of made me a little weary is that they had Asus in the building when he was reviewing it to make sure that like he didn't like crack it open, and because he always likes to do a teardown on stuff.
Yeah.
So to show like the innards and stuff like that, and to like get the full specs right then and there. So because they were there to kind of supervise and made sure that like he did what they wanted, I don't feel like that provides a lot of full confidence for me as a consumer. And he like even like he kind of did like a hint and a nod because he's like, oh yeah, Asus is here to supervise. So yeah, and then but yeah, from what so I can't really go like I haven't used it or anything, so I can't really give like a full review. But I think overall, I mean, I'm always welcoming more systems into the market. I guess like it's just more options, right?
That's right. It's run by AMD. AMD is pretty darn good, so.
Yeah, AMD. I don't remember. Is this going to be a Windows based? Right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Windows based versus Steam Deck is Linux based, correct?
Well, no, it's. Oh no.
The Steam Deck, I think Steam Deck is like a Linux, right? And then are they both Windows? Yeah. So.
And then ROG is supposed to be Windows.
Yeah, ROG's gonna be Windows. So I'm not sure how I feel about the name ROG Ally.
I don't like it. Sorry, it just doesn't sound like a video game console. Hey, can I borrow your ROG Ally? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Steam Deck sounds way better.
Steam Deck does sound better. They should have just put like Asus, like the Asus handheld or something like that, and just like called it a day. I would prefer that versus ROG Ally, right? Like,
maybe they're trying to like Rogue Ally, but it's ROG. I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't think of any. Yuck.
I don't know.
It looks cool at least.
Like the Asus portable, maybe something like that. At least would have been a bit better.
The Asus ROG. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. ROG Ally was kind of a little, but that's just naming. So it's supposed to be compatible though with the Xbox Game Pass, which I think is pretty like, unless you're Sony, everyone's gonna have that. So.
I mean, but what's Sony doing is what I want to say to that.
Yeah, where's your handheld? Yeah. Oh wait, we know how that happened, right? Rip, dude.
Oh, PSP, I love that thing.
Yeah, I mean, looking back now, like, I mean, I always thought it was cool and I always wanted one. Mm-hmm. It's just, I never got the Vita just because they just didn't have any games on there. They just dropped it and then it let it die. And then.
Oh, the PlayStation Vita.
Yeah.
Not the PSP. Is that the same thing?
Yeah. Because they had the PSP, that was the original one, and that was good. But they did the Vita, and it was like, I think it was just like digital only though, and that kind of killed it then and there. Because that was mainly when people were still using cartridge or disc. So.
Man, that's so long ago. I can't remember.
Yeah, so that was pretty. But I always wanted one, but they just never really supported it, and so I was like, well, I have my 3DS, right? Or was it even 3DS? I think it was 3DS back then. Yeah. PSP I think was just regular DS. It was like that Game Boy Advance DS kind of generation when like the PSP came out. Because I remember.
All I remember is Loco Roco on the PSP, and I was obsessed. That's all I remember.
When did the PSP come out?
I don't want to feel old.
Oh man, 2004.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Is that true? Okay, let me see. Wikipedia. First released in Japan in 2004, 2005 North America. So yeah. That had to be Game Boy Advance era, maybe early DS era, or it went into the DS era. Cuz 3DS was like 2010. It was like around there.
So that was probably SP, not even yeah, well, I don't know.
Yeah, so the Vita was like the last one. I want to say it was like mid 2010s, but
jeez,
I don't remember. But yeah, so like I always wanted one, but it was kind of so. Yeah, there's all this stuff like I like handheld gaming. I don't know, like it is fun, right? So I hope this is actually good. I never got to the point of like seeing specs or anything like
No, they
that
don't have
on the
anything on
flipping.
it.
So it's claiming though to be twice, right? Twice as
Yeah.
strong as the Steam Deck.
Yep.
So we'll see.
I just don't like how they're so bulky. I don't know. They're fine, kind of like maybe a little bit smaller because I don't feel. My hands start to hurt. Like with the Switch, if I ever want to play
Yeah.
like in bed or whatever, like my hands start to hurt.
That's why it's like, dude, like that's why you got to go back to like, um, the clamshell, right? For like the Game Boy Advance, like
Seriously,
SP. That was the Game Boy Advance SP.
that thing was
And then
perfect.
yeah, I forgot you had to get a specific version of the system because you wouldn't get a backlit screen. You didn't even have a backlit screen
Oh
for
yeah,
most of the Game
baby.
Boy. You had to get a specific
Oh
Game Boy
yeah.
SP that would
Yep.
actually have the backlit.
Yep. Oh, I remember
And then
all those
because of
stupid
that,
attachments I had.
yeah. And then they took out the port, the earbud port when they did that or something like
Yep.
that. I
Yep.
don't I remember one of them being like, "Where's the port?" And it's like, "There is no port." And you're just like, "What?"
You wanted
It
lights, didn't you?
yeah. I'm just like, does the backlit screen cost that much? I mean, like, we're not talking about like OLED 8K here. I
Yeah.
mean, that didn't even exist back then, but you know what I mean. Like,
We
we put in
wanted
that.
360p.
Yeah, I was like, we were fighting for our lives back then, right? So just to be able to play games on the go, right?
Oh man, that was a good time.
So, but of course the games are good, right? Game Boy catalog always a
Yeah,
banger, but
can't say that enough.
uh. Yeah, I mean the Switch is still good, but unfortunately we're kind of in that new age of gaming. But yeah, so there is going to be a new competitor, so it is something to look out for.
Yep.
I don't remember, did they give a price difference? So the
Nope.
Steam Deck 64 gigabyte iteration is 399. So that's like 64 gigabytes just holds nothing now. So you know you're pretty
Enjoy
much
your
gonna
one game.
have yeah.
Well, actually, not
Um,
even one game. I don't think there's any games that are
I
lower
mean,
than.
if you use it for like emulation or something, yeah, you
Yeah,
can stuff like 1,000 games in
indie
there.
games, I guess.
Like you could probably get all of the Game Boy catalog to fit in like a gigabyte.
That
You
could,
know?
yeah,
Yeah,
literally have all the old school games, and it's barely like 3 gigs.
yeah. Like you can probably have the entire like
Uh,
NES, SNES, and like Game Boy
Still less than
Advance, Game Boy
Windows.
Color, right? And
Yep.
then you have plenty of room still. So with that being said, though, I am gonna keep an eye on it though, because I don't know, it kind of looks interesting. I do like the color though and the design,
I do
right?
like how it looks.
I the RGB, I'm not the biggest fan of. Like, I don't even really like having the RGB on my computer. Like, I don't need like all these crazy light up keyboard stuff. Like, I prefer
dare
like
you.
form over like a sleek form where it's not like all these like bright lights and stuff. I'm like, I
A
just want
boomer.
to move the joystick without having like flashing lights on my eyes. But no, well, it's just because like sometimes I like lay down and then like I'm just like getting flashed by like bright lights and I'm just like,
Having a
you
whole
know what I
light
mean?
show, just pressing 3
Yeah.
buttons.
Yes, because it's like the way that I had my computer, it would be like sometimes like I'd leave it on because I'm like I'm gonna take a nap and I just have like
Yeah.
these colors going everywhere and I'm just like why?
You say
I
you
just
don't want to
want
sleep in a rave?
yeah, you know, like shoot.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
Like
funny.
man.
What a
But yeah,
bummer.
so
100%.
I don't know. I don't really care for the
Yeah.
RGB, but some people do. Some people really like it and stuff. So I'm not against it, like you know,
I
but
think you are
I
against
just want to turn it off. Like as
it.
long as am able to turn it off, that's all I care. So
Just close your
yeah,
eyes, Ricky. That's all you gotta do.
yeah, just play the game. Play Call of Duty on there blindfolded, so you don't have to see the light. Yeah. Well, speaking of Call of Duty, right? So we're getting the intervention back. We're getting I know you were mentioning like rumors of like the ACR and stuff like that,
Yep.
potentially coming even later. Honestly, this stuff should have just been base game. I don't know why they
Yeah,
didn't.
I was gonna ask that.
I was like,
Too little, too late is what I'm saying. Especially because everyone's jumping ship.
yeah, I don't know if this was like a move done on purpose to be like, hey, when people are leaving the game, we're gonna bring back the old classic guns.
Oh.
I don't know, because we're still missing a lot, right? Like the Model 1887s, right? Like you would have like the
I don't want
double,
those back.
and it's
Don't put that in the air, please don't.
yeah,
Because you
So
know they're gonna make it that good and that overpowered, and everyone's gonna complain about it, and then it's gonna be a big old thing,
you
and
see,
then
what I just want is like I think Call of Duty at this point should just make like a classic game mode, and then like they're more like balanced game mode, right? So it's like just like let people go crazy on these other
oh,
servers,
okay, I
right?
see
Like
what you're saying. Yep,
guns, right? Like it's
like a
just
limited time mode.
yeah, like something like that, or just even where it's just like, hey, this is like we bring back the more arcadey feel of Call of Duty, right? And just like you're just running around shooting stuff, and like it's supposed to be more fun, right?
Yeah,
The problem, of course, the community's like, oh, I'm gonna try to get clips there, and then they always kind of ruin it like that
nobody's
because
ever
I'm
gonna
just
be happy with Call of Duty.
yeah. So and that's the hard part, because
Yeah,
it's like we're all trying to find like the old Call of Duty, but the community's different, just the gameplay's different. Everyone's all
which
sad
I don't want to say hate,
and
but
angry.
uh,
It's just like, bro. Like, I mean, I get upset too. I'm
I
like,
know,
come
but just
on,
like
man, how do
play
I
the
do it?
game. I don't
But it's
know.
like, yeah, I was like, I'm not over here, but it is pretty funny when we get yelled at though. Um,
Actually, lately we've been saying we're Smurfs, so
yeah, and I'm just like, I
I
just
actually
put
got
on.
I got called that again today.
Oh,
Doing
really?
casual.
That's
Yeah,
pretty funny.
I had like, not to brag, I'm not bragging, but I had 51 kills on that Hamlet Expo thing, and like the rest of
Mm.
my team had like 18, and then the opposite team had like 12. So they're
And
stroking
they're
my
just like,
ego.
are you in FaZe Clan? Oh, we don't want to talk
Yeah.
about FaZe
Oh.
Clan though.
Mm,
Bye bye, Snoop Dogg.
yeah. I'm down bad like face.
Dude, it's just the whole thing's just falling apart, man. Like, I think it just got way too greedy. I think it's just the problem is everyone got super greedy because they thought they can just make a bunch of money off these nerds. Or like,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, we're gonna make money, doing competitive games, right? They were like, oh, we're gonna make these crazy returns. We're getting Snoop Dogg in, right? And it's like, nope. Like, cause like,
Which
yeah,
I don't
like
understand why.
even like, yeah, I mean, not to bring up Moist Critical again, but like even then he was like, yeah, my league, we just burn money. I don't like, he's like, I don't think you guys understand, it just
It's
burns money.
expensive. Yep.
Like yeah, because he brought in, was it Ludwig, right?
Yep.
And so they're both like, no, like we have a smile on our face burning the money because we just enjoy it. I mean, he's like,
Yep.
yeah, we get content out of it because we get to make videos and they get to make money back that way. But most of it is just a money hole. There's just no profit to be seen anywhere. Like he says, unless these people just work for us and give us all their earnings, we would never see a profit. And he's like, and I'm totally okay with that, because we just do it for the love of gaming, and like it's really fun events, and it just creates good content and like outreach. So he's like, yeah, and it's like, and that's the thing where it's like, and that's why I think why his stuff's probably going to be end up like surviving, because it's like they understand it's a money pit
They
versus like
love it. That's
FaZe.
why.
Yeah, it's like, and like FaZe, because like now, I mean, their stock dropped like crazy and stuff. People were saying like,
Actually, they
like
might get kicked out of the stock. I don't know what it's called. Like, I
New
guess
York
if you,
Stock Exchange, they're
yeah,
gonna
they
get
might
booted
get
or
kicked out.
something.
Yeah, because they don't make enough. Because it's still below a dollar.
Oh man, so yeah, like
So
it's not even enough to be listed. Wow.
yeah, there you
I
go.
mean,
Yeah,
that's crazy to me, like that they're just like, well,
that's what you get for being edgy. See ya.
yeah, like they got, that's the thing, like it's just there's not really money to be made in that like
Yeah.
business. Like it's fun to watch, right? Like the streams, like having a community. Like I would say it's better for the game itself, right? Like than necessarily like for making like businesses money, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so it's like it's really hard to have a business around that, because it's like I think a lot of like a lot of companies went into it thinking, oh, we're just creating the next NFL, or like Major League
Yeah.
Baseball or
Exactly.
something, and this is all this is just another iteration of that. So it's like we're gonna create all these like studios and groups and stuff like that, but it's just not that. The money's just not in there for that, because it's
Yeah.
like most people are just viewing it and they just, yeah, they make their money off of ads, but like I mean, you can't, like, if you start, you can't really charge the prices that like athletes
Yeah,
do, because
because
it's a fairly,
you can go to a baseball game, right?
yeah, you can go to a baseball game, and yeah, sometimes they have tourneys where you can actually show up to, but it's like you're not going to be getting hundreds of dollars per ticket, right? Like that's like I'm like
Unless
there's
they're every
just,
day.
yeah, like you're not like you're not going to be able to charge the same amounts. You're not going to be able to do everything, right? Like that the same way, like, because it's not like people enjoy baseball, right? Like, and people like baseball and good, and like people like video games. But the harder part too is like people can just play the video game, like
Exactly.
if I want to get into like ranked competitive, I can do it myself, right? Like I don't have to do anything crazy. I can play myself, and there's so many like people to watch, right? It is hard, right? Versus like there's only really like one, NFL kind of thing, right? Like that's all it is, and it's like to play on such a high competitive level, only very few people get to that level, right? Versus like, I mean, you can go on Twitch and just start scrolling, and you'll just find some of the craziest gamers ever, right? Like. Hopefully they're not cheating too.
Like
but
us. I mean, not cheating. Sorry.
I was like, what? I'm gonna take down the podcast. Get us out of here.
I didn't think you were gonna say cheating. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. but no, yeah, like, so it's like it's just a different thing, and just all the suits came in, and they're like, oh, we're gonna turn this into like the next big sporting events, and we're gonna own it all, right? And people, I mean, it made sense, right? Like FaZe was on the up and up for a while, right? Like, and then especially like during the lockdowns and stuff, all that stuff became a lot more popular, right? Because people were kind of forced to sit at home. And people more got into the scene, right? Because the thing is, it's like right now, like people always know like what FaZe is and stuff. Like I know what it is, but I don't really watch these competitions as much, right? Like you watch them a lot more, but it's like you still get a lot of people to watch them, but it's like it's still fairly niche, right? It's like a niche within a niche. I feel like because it's like you have like the general gaming community, and then you have people that. And then it's like it's based on a specific game, right? Typically, right? So it's like, and then from there, it's the people who care about the competitive aspect of that game, right? So it's like you get pretty far down, the chain of niche, and then so it's like there's still a lot of people that enjoy it, right? Like, and then of course you have ones that combine multiple games, right? Like different leagues and stuff like that do that. But I don't know. Like, I think it's like, unless people just enjoy doing it, it's just not that you can't make money with these organizations, but I just don't think it's like, it's not easy. Like to just trying to profit and like
that much money.
Yeah. It's like, it's hard because like, you just have to really get that like following and everything like that. And it's not easy. And it's just like, of course, like FaZe unfortunately has always kind of looked a little bit more to be greedy and stuff like that. Like, I know that a lot of the times, like, they haven't always been looked upon as, like, great. Like, they're kind of living off the reputation of, like, back in, like, Black Ops 2 days, and stuff like that, where it's, like, all the 360 no-scopes, where are you
they
at?
don't even do that anymore. I think that's why they suck now, because they're doing all that edgy content. It's like, well, what about the OGs of FaZe? Like, what?
Yeah, so, and that's the hard part. So it's, like, because you do have a lot of, like, OGs just in... like Optic, FaZe, all of them where they're kind of just like slowly taking a back seat and they're kind of done. So I don't know. I just don't really see them like when it comes to FaZe at least, right? Like I don't know. It's like, well, we'll see. We'll just see because it's like Call of Duty now. They're kind of struggling themselves, right? Like I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of people playing, right? But I mean, look at Battlefield, right? Just from one game to the next. Everyone just like so.
I don't think Call of Duty would be that way though.
I don't think Call of Duty would be able to do it. I'm glad that they're bringing the intervention. I hope they start bringing back a lot of the classic guns.
Yeah, they just gotta do stuff. That's the problem.
Yeah, like it just I think just unfortunately just in general they've just been kind of sitting there, and especially because they don't really have to compete with Battlefield anymore. That's the thing. It's like ever since Battlefield 1, just Battlefield's just been there. Like, and especially with this last game, it was kind of the nail in the coffin where people were just sick and tired of it. And they're just now playing older Battlefield games.
Or Fortnite.
Yeah, or Fortnite. I mean, really, that's probably COD's biggest competitor now is Fortnite.
Well, it is actually, because you know how I told you in Fortnite they made maps of like Call of Duty?
Yeah, you got that first person mode.
They DMCA'd them, so Call of Duty's angry at Fortnite right now.
Oh, because they're allowing people to make maps that are basically like their maps.
Call of Duty.
Because you know what's the worst part? Is the community is gonna make something way better than what their overworked employees are going to be able to
Yep,
do.
that is correct.
Right? Because like COD has like, I'm imagining it's, I mean, COD's, of course, there's like people who are passionate within, for making games within the company.
Yeah.
But I gotta imagine it's just so bureaucratic. So like you have to go through all these hoops and get all these approvals just to put something in the game that it's just you can't do it as efficiently as a couple guys,
Hey, let's do this.
binge drinking, trying to create a map, being like,
Yeah.
bro, you remember Rust, dude? Oh, well, let's go create it. Come on, let's spend like a few hours, and then like
Yep.
I mean, I'm kind of like downplaying it, but
You're not.
there's people like there's like, oh yeah, I loved playing this as a kid, I'm gonna put passion in it and recreating it because that's what they do, that's what they enjoy, right? Like it's the same thing where it's like even like I now notice like even like for mods, right? Like I probably play mods for a game more than the actual base game, right? Like when it comes to my grand
Yeah.
strategy games and stuff, it's like I usually play the mod, right? Like because it's just typically it's just better because it's what people want. There's less bureaucracy involved, so like it can just be like, oh, I want this feature in the game. Okay, like there's no like overhead, like get it approved. Like sometimes when they're big community stuff, there is kind of like someone kind of like in charge, but it's like everyone's saying we should add this, let's add it. Okay, it's added, right? Like no one's there trying to like make profit off of it, so it's kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, people want it and they're donating to us. Like, okay, we're gonna add the feature, right? Like, or sometimes they
Such a
don't even. They're
simple
not even.
concept.
They're not even donation based a lot of the times. Like, they're just like they just
Here you
do
go.
it. It's like a full time job, but they just do it for fun, right? Like, and that's just crazy. So it's like, unfortunately, yeah, like Call of Duty is gonna have to compete with its own community in that aspect, right? Because like no one's going and building it in Fortnite who doesn't like Call of Duty, right? Like that doesn't make sense. Someone who doesn't like Call of Duty, yeah, yeah, it's like they're doing it because they love Call of Duty, especially like capturing that feeling when they were a kid. And if there's probably a few maps, a few people, really talented game designers out there that are doing that, able to kind of capture that feeling, and people are gonna play that over regular Call of Duty,
Roblox.
and then yeah, like it's gonna be pretty crazy because it's like, Epic did kind of put, take out the genie from the bottle, or Pandora's box, or whatever you want to call it, because now people can kind of create their own assets and stuff.
Well, people already remade old school Fortnite.
Yeah,
like when it first came out, so that's back already.
Yeah, so it's like it's crazy. Like I got like zombie map modes, right? Like you're gonna have that, and it's just like you can't like it's just why like Fortnite's free, right? It has a huge community. People are making it. It's probably more enjoyable, right? And people are gonna go play that, and it's like it's not gonna be enough to like take down Call of Duty. It's like, oh well, sorry, Activision's only worth $1 million now. Everyone left, right? Like that's not what's gonna happen here.
Happen.
But like it's like, so I don't want to like overhype it or anything, but it's like it is like, yeah, like Call of Duty, they know it's enough of a threat where if they went and was like, yeah, you can't be doing this, they know it's probably gonna hurt them a little bit more than they probably are willing to admit. So yeah, I mean, I just Modern Warfare, just Call of Duty, I think they've lost their innovation, they've lost their edge. A lot of Call of Duty has kind of felt like it's enjoyable. I like playing them, some more than others, right? But I don't know. It's just like I just remember Call of Duty back in the day just having more stuff. Like I don't know. Maybe that's just like I just remember like you could like you had all these like crazy Easter eggs and like well that was more Treyarch's like stuff, but I just remember them being like
more stuff,
like just like, or like maybe just because like you're just able to do like have more fun, I guess. I don't know how to word it. Like I just feel like a lot of the party games, like the party games, are just gone. Like they don't really have. I mean, like when they dropped, they didn't really have like sticks and stones, like gun game, right? Like a lot of that stuff.
I don't understand that.
Like a lot of that kind of like game modes are just gone. Like the fun ones are just gone. Like it's like they just don't include certain game modes right out of the box, right?
Well, they're
not
going to because they want people to come back for like season 2, 3, etc. Right?
Yeah, and like and that's the thing where it's like, wait, what's going on here? It's like because I remember I was like looking like, oh, I want to play some gun game, and like there's no gun game. I was like, there's like one in the chamber or something like that. And I was like, okay, I just played that instead, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, and then
Maybe next
I was
season.
like,
Is it? I think it is here now, right? I don't
I don't even
remember.
know, dude, because I used to just mainly just play like gun game, like Black
Yeah.
Ops 2 gun game, crazy, dude. Like or like sticks and stones and stuff like that. Like
I hate those ones.
really, I love those ones. Like infected, right?
In fact, that's fun.
Like you don't really like I mean sometimes yeah they have they probably have like one. I don't even just Modern Warfare 2 even have infected.
Yeah, they have infected
It
now.
has infected.
That was
Okay,
a
because I was
season 2
like
feature.
yeah, but you see it's like that's season 2. That's not
Yeah.
like day one. Like and that's the thing where it's just like I
It's
feel
just
like
because they're
man
afraid they're not going to play the whole game for a whole year if they give you everything. Which sad reality is we will be playing it for the whole year if you give us everything. Just
yeah
constantly
not,
fix it.
yeah it's more just like balancing and just adding in new maps from time to time is what people more care about. Like I don't care about a battle pass as much as like I just want there to be I don't know, new map, bring in another gun
They're
or
barely
two.
doing that too, which is like annoying.
And it's like I prefer more maps than like these terrible battle passes that just like, oh, you can get more COD points or we give you like this
Yeah.
skin that's kind of ugly. It's like
Battle
just
Pass is an L this time. Yeah.
it's like yeah, it's like just give me another game mode. Give me, I don't know, like do something.
Give us
Like
more health.
and it's like,
More
yeah,
time.
it's like, but it's just, but the thing is, like, because the resources to go into making a new gun, a new map, right? Because you got to get the animators, the designers, right, to start working
No,
on things.
I no.
So
Come
it's
on.
like,
This is
it's so,
Activision.
no, 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 no. But it's a lot easier to tell someone, go make another skin
I guess,
and
yeah.
put that out there than to be like, oh, we're going to add in new games, new mechanics, right? New maps, right? So it's like, that's way more resource intensive
Yeah. And
than
it's
to
not even
just
new.
keep selling a battle pass,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, okay, yeah, just package this stuff for a battle pass, reuse assets and stuff so that, the characters slightly look different and then boom, right? Like, cause it's like they probably make a lot more money off of like skins and costumes, right? Like
True.
than like making a new map, right? Like so that's probably why they're just more like but the thing is they're gonna lose people, so it's like yeah, they make the money now, but in the future they're not gonna have those players, like
I
that
say
player
make it free to
retention.
play. That's the
Call
next
of Duty
move.
free to play under if Microsoft buys it, I think if Microsoft buys it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ballsy move would
Just
be
make it free
that
to
if
play.
it's free to play on Xbox devices, right? Like anything
Uh,
Microsoft devices, if you get it on the Xbox, it's free. Xbox Game Pass or something like that, right? It's free. They probably wouldn't do Xbox Game Pass, maybe just straight up Xbox like only like their Xbox consoles. Yeah, Call of
no,
Duty's
they're gonna
free.
get in so much trouble for that. They already said Sony, we're not gonna mess with Call of Duty, so I don't even think
that would be like the only way COD goes free to
the
play.
world will be set ablaze if that happens.
And
That's all I'm
that,
saying.
dude, that'd be amazing, dude. Like, I just want to see the world go on fire for that. Like Call of Duty going free to play, but you can only do it on Xbox. You have to pay for it full price, $70 on Sony.
No, that screws me over.
That'd be
Give me my
so
Call of
funny.
Duty.
That would be so funny, dude. Oh my gosh,
I
that
hate
would
that.
go crazy.
I hate
That
that so
would that would
much.
set gaming on fire for like a
That would,
generation.
because that's just wow. I don't even want. I'm gonna go throw up. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, but
Terrible.
yeah, so they're bringing some stuff, right? Like we're not even talking about the update. We're just talking about hypotheticals here.
Well, it's just an
Um,
intervention.
yeah,
Period.
intervention. Yeah,
August or
March
April
5th.
12th.
Yeah, so I guess April 12th. Um, we're just getting some new stuff here and there, but yeah, because we were gonna just talk about like Call of Duty a little slow on the little updates and stuff like that, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes though. Call of Duty's gonna be Call of Dutying, so it is what
And I
it
love
is.
it. I hate that.
But yeah, so I mean that's really all I got to say on the Call of Duty aspect now. But
Catch us in the ranked lobbies, boy.
yeah, actually come hang out with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/pastthepopculture if you wanna have some fun there, man. We get
right.
some good games going, we get some competition going.
That's right.
Yeah, so I mean, we get our butts kicked here and there, but for the
Never.
most part, like don't have me play Search and Destroy, but anything else I'm fine. I just love how like I instantly get on Search and Destroy and I just forget how to play the game.
Donuts. I'm over here having 15 kills.
And it's like, oh, TDM? I'm like carrying everyone on my back and it's just like Search and Destroy. All right, like I get like a walnut brain, like
yeah, you're still higher ranked than me somehow. I don't.
Yeah, that's the funny part. I think it's just on the other games. I just go God mode or something like that, and
that's what I said.
Yeah, because I was getting some.
I don't get any credit for being the team leader.
I was just getting some crispy, like double, triple kills, like just capping points all by myself, and just like, all right, dude, like. Getting called Smurf, I was just like, I don't know why I'm popping off. I'm scared.
Our egos are through the roof because of rank.
Yeah, literally every time we play, like someone's like, because we were like in bronze, right? Because it's like, but everyone's like, we go against like what
platinum,
yeah, and then they're just like, are you guys? Is this your guys' Smurf accounts? Like, why are you guys doing that? It's like. And it's literally just us, and then like we don't even have all of us don't even have mics.
Yeah, literally it's just us two.
It's like so. It's just pretty funny. It's like we don't really even know what's going on. We don't really like. You're the only one who knows the call outs. We're just it's a mess, but it is fun though. It's a fun mess. So
energy, we love it.
Yeah, it's absolutely chaotic when we play. So if you guys are interested, always of course check out the Twitch. Like I said, twitch.tv/PassThePopCulture. We're live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 2:00. We're usually on Pacific Standard Time. So come and join, come hang out. Let us know what you guys thought about, the podcast. Let us know. Did you like the D&D movie? What do you think about COD? Do you hate COD? Drop those comments down below as well. What do you wish COD would be doing more of, like, bringing more maps, more game modes? If you're listening on YouTube, drop subscribe. Of course, those are always very much appreciated if you listen all the way through on your favorite podcast listening platform. Drop a 5 stars, a good review, a thumbs up, a heart, however it works on there. We very much appreciate any and all support. And, follow the Insta, man. Follow the Twitter. We always, we're on all social media platforms. There's @PassThePopCulture, of course, all across the board. Just follow us. We usually tell you guys when we go live. We usually post clips on there, right? Check out the shorts on our YouTube channel as well. We have a whole catalog, just different shorts, just like stupid stuff that's going on. Go in and like every single one. Yeah, but again, subscribe, guys. We very much appreciate it if you listen all the way through. So thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.